Why is the Ford Mondeo so popular? Welcome to Cheap Thrills, the podcast about cheap, fast, and fun cars that deliver maximum excitement for minimum money. Today, I want to talk to you about the Ford Mondeo. I have just bought one. Well, I've bought it, but I haven't gone to collect it yet. I'm going to go and collect it the weekend, hopefully. I put a couple of posts out on some of the Facebook groups and on my Instagram, and there was so much love for the Mondeo, and I've got no idea why. I've never known a car that's more mediocre than a Mondeo. No, nothing makes you feel more distinctly average than a Mondeo. So why does everyone love them? Well, the only way to find out is to buy one. So I've gone and bought what I think is the right Mondeo for me, and that's an ST220. So I'm looking for a car to take to the ring. I'm looking for something that's cheap, affordable. I've set a budget of £3,500 all in, and that's for the car, the tyres, any work that needs to be done, MOT, and just to get it there. There was a Mondeo ST200, a Golf G. No, it wasn't even a GTI, it was just a 1.8 turbo. 600 Ti, which is actually a particularly interesting car, which I am going to come back to, and I think I might buy it if it's still for sale next year, because it was a lot of car for the money. Anyway, that's something completely different. We're talking about Mondeo, staying on track. And most people came back and said, go for the Mondeo. Oh, and an Audi TT. A lot of people came back and said, go with the Mondeo. So many people were so viciously protective about the Mondeo and how good it was. Everyone loved the ST200, and there were lots of owners who really rated the ST220. So I found an ST220, which I actually really like the look of. It had a nice big fat chunky grille on it, massive huge great big fat arse on it. The bumpers, the ST bumpers, are extended front and back, and it just gives the car like a really good look. It actually had a set of wheels on it which filled the wheel arches, which were fantastic as well. It is a 3-litre V6. We'll come on to that in a bit. It had these like super cool black Recaros in it. It was a manual. I'm not sure if it was a 5 or a 6-speed. I don't really care. And it was just genuinely cheap. I think the deal was done for £1,500, which I had 117,000 miles on it and MOT until March. It had like a kind of peppering of different bits of rust on it, but in general, it was in really nice condition. Bearing in mind, we've not gone to get it yet, so I will make a video about when we go up and get it. But I just wanted to talk about this kind of marvelous Mondeo that people talk about. So I've shared a couple of photos of this car and said, hey, look, what does everyone think? Great little ring tool. And I'll come on to why I think it's a good ring tool in a minute. But, great little ring tool, not a lot of money, fantastic little car, cheap as chips. And so many people have come back and messaged me and been like, I've got one of these, they're incredible. I've had 3 of these and I've still got one now. Oh my gosh, these are the best cars I've ever driven. And I don't mean like 1 or 2 people. I mean like 20, 30 people have sent me this message. It really is a true enthusiast car. It is a car that when people own it, they want to tell you how good it is. Now, I haven't driven it yet because I didn't want to. I wanted to buy the car and commit to the car in the same way that I commit to other rubbish that I don't really sort of look at properly before I buy it. I'm interested to see just how good this car is. I think it is massively down on power. It sits at around 220 brake horsepower. It's quite a big car. I think they said it's coming in at like 1,300 kilos or something like that. So that's not a lot of power. I wouldn't say it's a sporty chassis. I wouldn't say it's not a homologation car. So it was never raced. There was no Ford racing kind of BTCC input for that car or that year. It was literally just someone's gone, oh, look, we made this car. Let's put some fat bumpers on it and a V6 in it and send it on its way. But mid to late noughties, was a V6 a good engine? I don't know. The thing that made me kind of snatch this with kind of both hands, and I've kind of agreed to buy it before I've gone to get it, is the love that this vehicle has. I've bought it on everyone else's kind of recommendation, which could be a terrible thing, but this is quite a rare vehicle. There aren't hundreds of them around. There aren't even tens of them around. There is probably about 7 or 8 of them for sale at this point in time. So it is quite rare. Now, whether it's rare because it went through the scrappage scheme because it was so rusty and horrendous, or whether it was rare because people just 2000 and mid-noughties, did people want to drive around in a V6? Mondeo? I just feel like the Mondeo had it by then. My best friend used to run Mondeo taxis, and I have never seen cars go through what those cars used to go through. One of them had like nearly 400,000 miles on them on that TDCi engine. They went through absolutely loads. But that's how good that car is. So I've kind of bought it based on everyone else's love. It doesn't really matter to me because I feel like it ticks the boxes that I wanted it to tick. At £1,500, it's super affordable. It's a super rare car. The parts are still quite cheap for it, and I think it looks nice too. So it kind of ticks the main boxes for me. It's also not the £700 tax that I've got on my 335, so that will be nice. So it won't really do a lot. It's going to come from Stoke down to Torquay, have a little run around there, get used to it, upgrade a couple of parts that I think we're going to need to upgrade on it. Apparently the dampers are a bit weird at the back, so I'm going to try and swap all the suspension out. I do not like the sound of it, so I think we'll put a Miltech exhaust on it or some kind of made up retardo super noisy thing. And then we will probably just give it a really good clean, put some new tyres on it. And then we'll probably take it to Castle Combe, see how it handles, because that's a crap track. So crap car, crap track. Cheap though, and it's close, so we'll go there. And then what we'll do is we'll load it on the ferry and we'll take it to Nordschleife and we'll do a lap of the ring in it. And then hopefully we'll bring it home. And I feel like this is going to be the right car to do that. You know, yes, it's not fast. Well, I don't think it's fast. Maybe it will prove me wrong. But that's what I'm going to do with it. And there are 2 or 3 of these cars for sale for kind of £4,000 to £5,000, which I find is remarkable. There is absolutely no way I would buy one of these cars for £5,000. It's an absolute joke. There are so many better cars. You could buy a 335 for £5,000, and that is an exceptional car. However, I do understand now that it is rare, and those Recaros are appealing, and I get it. But that's a lot of money. However, bring that scale all the way down to £1,500. You are looking at an incredible car for £1,500. That changes the game. It changes the playing field massively when cars like that reach rock bottom prices. Suddenly, I'm not sitting in it going, well, this doesn't feel like a £5,000 car. I'm sitting in it thinking, this is a lot of car for the money. But is it going to be thrilling? Because if it's going to be cheap, it kind of has to have the thrill factor. I'm guessing a good chunk of the thrill factor will come from the mechanics of me literally not caring about that car and absolutely sending it, which is where I think the fun will come in. I think the fun will come in because it will be a toy. It looks a bit like a toy, and we'll see what it does. I don't know anyone that's had one of these cars, and I don't know anyone that boring. Sorry, that was a joke. I'm sure if you love these cars, you're not really boring, but maybe you are. I don't know. But basically, the Mondeo. That is me buying a Mondeo in a kind of twisted nutshell with the sole purpose of taking it to the Nürburgring. But in general, what am I getting wrong about it? Why would somebody like a Mondeo? A diesel Mondeo, or even worse, just a 2-litre petrol or an 1800 petrol that was probably that same horrible engine that was in the Sierra, which is probably also in an old Escort. I don't know. I had an Escort and it was terrible, but I kind of loved it, but it was terrible. It had some really weird... I was the only person that could turn the key. You had to kind of like twist the key in with the steering wheel and flick it into to turn it over. And it was a really bizarre kind of setup. I had a Ranger Raptor once. That was pretty cool, actually. And I do like a Fiesta ST. And I do think Ford have made seminal vehicles which we should be thanking Ford for some of the vehicles it's brought to our roads. Firstly, the GT40. Secondly, the RSs. Thirdly, Cosworth. Oh, that's another thing. Who knew ST220? Technically, it's a Cosworth. I will have a Cosworth. That's right. It has a head designed by Cosworth in it. And that's probably why it only has 220 horsepower in it, because it doesn't have a turbo or a supercharger. If it was a Jag, it would probably have a supercharger or a turbo. I wonder if that could be done. Anyway, Mark II Mondeo. I mean, why? It's not... I know it's cheap now. There's no way it can be thrilling. Is there anyone out there that's got a Mark II that isn't an ST that is like, this is one of the most amazing cars I've ever had? Because I just don't feel like it can be. I feel like my experience has been tainted a little bit because I was given a Mondeo as a courtesy car once, and one half of the seat had kind of collapsed. So as you were driving along, it would just kind of, not all of the seat, but kind of like the right-hand side of the seat would just sort of drop back and you'd be kind of low riding it like that. And it was just an absolute pain in the arse. It was a terrible car. It rattled. It also had that kind of interior that was like kind of like hard plush, like a coach seat. And it was that rancid, like, I don't know. I think I'd rather have like a weave that's in like an old Volvo rather than that horrible coach seat pointy. Oh, it was disgusting. It was a horrible car. It was a 1600, I think, so it was super slow. Looked crap, drove crap, and it was just awful. To the point where I was like, I'd rather just walk than drive anywhere in this. And I think, in fact, the car that was getting repaired when they gave me that was probably, that was like a 1.9 diesel Xara, which was an absolute shitbox, but it was also fantastic. It was better than the Mondeo by 100 times. It didn't even have a turbo. It was just an Xara 1.9D with a big scratch all down the door. Yeah, missed that car. Better than a Mondeo. So I'm going to try and find some other Mondeo owners and ask them what it is about the Mondeo that they like. I'd be interesting to see what the TDCi Mondeo ST is like versus the petrol. And I'm also super keen and super excited to go and collect it. I do find myself looking at the photos of it and thinking, that looks so nice. So I'm hoping when I get there, it will look nice. Now, I have committed to it, so I'm not going to not get it. I don't think there's going to be any problems when we buy this car because I think the guy that's selling it is actually quite a nice guy. And he's probably going to come on the pod as well and talk about a few other bits and pieces. And he wants to do a European road trip. So yeah, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. And if there is, it doesn't matter. It's £1,500. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm not getting ripped off and I don't feel like I'm getting ripped off. In fact, I reckon if the engine had half blown up, it would still be worth £1,200. So, I don't think that anything could go wrong with it. So in short, we've bought an ST220 to go to the Nürburgring. We're not going to daily it. We're not going to drive it. Its sole purpose is to go to the ring, blast it round and bring it back. It was cheap. It's rare. It's in silver and it looks quite nice. So I'm really looking forward to collecting that car. I will make a video. I will try and get as much into that as I possibly can. I might try and take it to some kind of shows around here as well and just sort of see what other people think about it. I'm not going to be butthurt if anyone says, make that car shit, because it probably is shit. I think it's shit. I think it's a shit car, but I also think it's a great car. I'm so conflicted over it. I think it's going to be really good. I'm going to need to bring somebody else in to have a discussion. But the fact of the matter is that we're going to get a car. We're going to take it to the ring. It's cheap. And the overall question is how thrilling will it be? And if it's not thrilling, what can I do to it to make it thrilling? So my takeaway is that for £1,500, the ST220 will be a fantastic buy, because people love it so much and it really has the enthusiasts behind it. It's such a fantastic car. My opinion of it is that it's not going to be very exciting and it's going to be a massive letdown after some of the cars that I have and I've driven. Not that I'm a snob. I would never say it's only a 911 for me, because I'm not like that. And that's not what this podcast is about. But at the same time, it does set the bar to what is a good car. I don't think it's going to be that exciting. Am I going to get it home when I collect it? Is it going to blow to bits? Is it total trash? It's 4 hours away from me. It's near Chester. I mean, I don't even know where that is. It's probably snowing up there. That's so far away. I wonder if I'll get robbed. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So if this episode proves anything, it's that fun isn't about power. It's not about Porsches. It's about doing something really fun, really cheaply. And I think that's probably the core of what my podcast is about. So that's it for this episode of Cheap Thrills. But if you enjoyed it, follow my podcast, leave me a little review and tell me what you think. Actually, no, don't tell me what you think about the podcast. Tell me what you think about Mondeos, because I want to know what other people think about Mondeos. And then I'm going to get somebody in, or a couple of people in, who are like weird Ford people, and we can have a chat with them and they can explain to me why the Ford Mondeo is better. And I'm Rob Hartman, and I'll see you in the next one.